Hello, everybody. Christian from Treasure Town here, and we've also got Isaiah, who's a new member. He's been working behind the scenes, but I'm excited to have him in videos a little bit more. But he was recently at a tag sale and purchased a book from 1935 that was a guide to coin collecting and also gave 9 tips for collectors. And we're going to see if they've stood the test of time, if we agree with them or disagree or have some nuanced opinion on them. So, thanks for telling me to do this video idea, Isaiah. I'm excited, and maybe we can get started and understand what the first tip that they gave us was.
I'm excited too. This is a pretty cool little book. I picked it up like you said at a tag sale, um, and it's a small, quaint little book, and it has just some really good advice and some really old coins in it. So let's get to it.
Sure. So, what's the first one that we'll be giving our opinion on?
The first hit that he gives is don't assume that a dealer will buy your coins at all times, even if they command a premium.
Yeah, pretty fair. I mean, I think that that's something important, maybe when you're going to sell coins, especially, and really if you don't have a ton of experience doing it, like getting different opinions from different dealers, like specialty dealers who really know how to work with, say, ancient coins, are going to pay way more for it than like a dealer that really doesn't have as much experience and sort of just does bread and butter US and modern world stuff. And like they don't know that much about it, so they can't pay as strong. So being specific in terms of who you're selling to and knowing what material to place where, I think is important.
Yeah, I totally agree with
What about
that,
you?
and yeah, I agree with that. I think that sometimes some coins are hot and dealers don't want to hold that in their hands for too long if they don't think that they can sell it for a profit.
Yeah, I'm seeing the next one here is to avoid badly worn, hold, and mutilated coins. I'm actually going to use the streaming software that I'm kind of figuring out so that we can
Oh,
have it
sorry.
on screen. But what do you think about that?
This might apply more to condition rarities. So like some coins are really rare and really um, in demand, even if they are worn, hold, or mutilated. Um, So like a 19, a 1794 half Disney, someone will, I'm sure any collector will be happy to pick one of those up if it's bent, run over, hold. But like a common pocket change coin, someone is less likely to find that valuable.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I might disagree with you a little bit in the sense that some of the mutilated or damaged things like are then much tougher to move like if it's really damaged versus like it's got a cleaning and a details grade, but like for those 1794 obviously it'd be super excited to pick it up, but like as I see it, I'm thinking more, it's going to be a lot tougher to find somebody who will bite and like pay up for it. um when it does have that damage and can be sort of tough to quantify, or like it's not as liquid of a coin. I guess is like something I would think about. I think it goes sort of a classic point. The next one looks like condition is
Yeah,
important to value. I'm not sure.
yeah,
I think that is maybe more one of the beginner tips, but maybe explain a little bit about what he's talking about.
yeah. So that's like why we have the Shelton scale. Like they'll pour one through a MS-70. Um, so like condition is really important. Collectors want nice coins for their collections, and it definitely reflects in the price. What do you think, Christian?
For sure. I think the next one is also something that we'll probably both agree with, but I like the old school wording. He says, "Don't
Yeah,
rush for a can of metal polish as soon as you find some old coins. Better let them alone, or you may scrub away much of their value. Dealers and collectors seldom want their old coins to be shining like brass doorknobs." I thought that was pretty awesome, and that's
yeah,
a great point for anybody listening to this video. Um, yeah, definitely not a good move. I think back then they weren't really even using the Sheldon scale to grade in the sense that like from 1 to 70,
yeah,
and it wasn't like they had details grades, but even back then people didn't like I'm sure whoever did it to start really polish something up, the collectors weren't a fan of.
yeah. And I remember something that Seth Chandler said from our Witter Coin University last summer. Like people who like really valued their collections and families like who were given like collections, like if they really treasured them, they oftentimes took them out, cleaned them up, and like and kind of valued them in that way. So like a lot of coins that were handled were mishandled, whereas like a lot of the really good coins were put away and forgotten about, and kind of what we'd think of as like neglected. So I think that's kind of interesting.
No, that's a great point. Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I think like yeah, so many well-meaning people end up hurting the
Yeah,
value on their coins in a big way, and it's a shame to see. Mhm. I think our next point, sounds like we both agree. And I think it's a good reminder is
yeah,
coins aren't valuable just because they're old. Basically, what he's saying is, if I would say coins are probably more likely to be valuable when they're old. And we see a lot less super valuable coins that are pretty new just because I think the mint's been a little bit better. I mean, there's some 2021 sort of cool die crack or like shattered die pennies that have been found, some neat stuff on some of the new 2022 quarters, but it's not like, back then there were many more double dies or '09 SVDBs. It's not like we have
yeah,
quite as much along those lines. But I pretty much agree with this. I think it's also good in the sense that there are some really old coins that you can buy super cheap if you're more of a beginning collector.
yeah. I totally agree with that. Let's see what the next point is.
What,
Um, don't hoard coins that have no premium over their face value.
oh, I think this is an
So
interesting one.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
that we
I'm
might
curious on
disagree
your
over
thoughts.
this.
Yeah, yeah.
I
What are
I
you thinking
agree
here?
with this. I don't think that that's something that you should do, or uh and my reasoning for that is that like a lot of coins like are thought to sometimes be valuable until like big hoards come out. Like I kind of think of like CCs, like Morgan CCs, like when the GSAs were brought out. The like an 84 CC like drastically dropped in price after those mint bags were found. What about you,
That's a
Christian?
good point. No, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, I mean, I think I somewhat agree. Like I used to, full disclosure, when I was like 10, I had these rolls of like common date dimes that I had in my closet, and I was like, in 100 years, these are going to be worth a ton. But they were all like really circulated, and maybe by the time I was like 15, I think I cashed them in at the bank and tried to go buy more collectible coins. I think like it's sort of, and I could do a whole video on this, but like there are so many things today that are made with a bunch of hype that are like marketed as being collectible from the outset. And back then it was very rare that people were like hoarding. Like look at all these mint boxes in the back of me. Most of them are pretty widely available and really not that rare, except for like this sort of very niche baseball game. And so those might be kind of rare. But the point is, like, people didn't think, oh, I'm going to sit on this sealed product and it's going to be worth, or I'm going to sit on these like unopened rolls of coins or proof sets or original mint sets. And I'm going to have them in my, fancy folder with some sulfur, and they're
Yeah,
going to tone really beautifully. Like that wasn't being thought of. So today it's a lot tougher to really find that collectible material. And since so many more people are collecting it, I probably feel like I do agree with you. But if you look at the time that this book was written, if you were hoarding, coins from the 1930, 1932S and 32D quarters, and they were mint state, and you're getting for 25 cents. I think that they would have done just fine, or maybe some Liberty, St. Gaudens $20. It might have taken a little while for them to have that increase, but a good cherry picker with knowledge of the future, I think, would have done well hoarding no
yeah,
premium face value coins.
yeah. No, after you bring that up, I think that if uh, Delquest would have given me this advice in 1935, I might be a little sore. I might, yeah, I might. There might be a little ill feeling.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so maybe that undoes all the value, but I think that there's still some good tips here. Maybe we'll move to the next
Yeah,
one, and like maybe we can circle back to that sixth point and do a full video on it. But
Yeah.
What's number 7, and what's your opinion on it?
Don't feel surprised if dealers ask a premium for fine specimens of current or common coins. Um, so I think that this is like I agree with this. Dealers put a lot of time and effort, like in money and capital into their business, and I think that the price kind of is shown in the coins and the premium that they're asking. What do you
Yeah,
think, Christian?
yeah, totally. No, I mean, especially on like the common stuff, like I've worked in different coin dealerships, and it's not like, another good topic we could explore for a long time, but like it's great to have beginners walk in the shop, but they might be in the middle of a really big consignment deal or buying a huge collection, and then
Yeah,
somebody comes in, looking to flip through a ton of binders and then buy like a $5
yeah,
coin that the dealer paid like $3 for. Like it's it's reasonable for them to charge a little bit. And I think it's great, I would always, when I was sort of a young collector, try to call ahead or say like, "Hey, is it a okay time for me to come in?" And then he'd be really receptive, because if he was actually having a tough day, or just like a long, challenging day to work through, he would then be much happier to see me when it was quieter, and give me a good deal, or just sort of good to respect everybody involved. So just something
yeah.
to maybe think about. But yeah, we've got two more. I didn't know if you wanted to make a point or go to the next one.
I know. I just thought that was really neat, and like that's something that I'll probably do in the future. Just
Yeah.
respecting dealers' times, and yeah, it's neat.
Um,
Um, the next point is don't believe too readily what you read about old coins in the newspapers. Such stories um, are too often more sensational than accurate and are likely to be unreliable and misleading.
That's great. I mean, maybe I'll go first on this one. So first,
Yeah,
awesome that the newspaper was sort of the sensational. I think now like the most sensationalized content is probably like right here on YouTube, and I try to not be
yeah,
too sensational, but I totally probably am sometimes. And so maybe the takeaway from this video is not to believe what I'm saying, but I'm trying to do my best here. Um, and so I think it's maybe going back to evaluating your sources for news and other info. But yeah, what's your take on this one?
yeah. I think that like what he says, don't believe too readily. Just fact check your sources. There's so many online resources, so many books and stuff. Um, like to get an informed opinion. So just like don't jump to the first conclusion when like buying a coin or when making an evaluation of a coin. Yeah,
Yeah. And I know I'm going to try to build out treasuretowncoins.com more, but like PCGS Coin Facts and the Numismatist, that magazine, the Rare Coin Market Report. There's other good YouTube channels, but then Coin Week, Coin World, lots of cool places to look. Maybe we wrap up. It looks like number 9 is going to have to do with, in his case, 1913 Liberty Head nickels. And this is sort of another funny one. He says, "Don't waste your time looking for 1913 Liberty Head nickels. Such coins are not and never were in circulation. Only 6 were made, and all of them were quickly placed in collections." And I think, maybe back then there was sort of a frenzy of people searching for these, but I think not looking for coins in circulation, that's a super cheap and fun way to be involved with coins. And I think knowing like some of the rarities are really fun. Like I think one of my, and I'm biased because it's been good performing videos for Treasure Town, but like 1976 no S clad proof Ike dollar. Somebody literally found one of those in like a tray in a restaurant, like got it, or in a, I think, shopping mall, got it back in change and sold it for, I think it was like 450,000, and there's been 7-figure offers
gosh,
for the coin. Basically, you can keep the dream alive. At the same time, I think this specific coin, especially today, I mean, it was only 20 years old, so what that 1975 coin is like 50 years old, but that there was hype around it still, and I think it's fun to like know. I think the 20-year-old coin to look for. Actually, somebody just found one, and I'm going to do a video on it. 2001, there's a penny, and there's been 2 found at least with muled with a dime reverse, and both sold in the $50,000 to $120,000 range. So that's the 20-year-old coin. That's maybe the one to look for. But the point is, I kind of disagree with him on this, but would be curious on your thoughts.
Yeah, well, I originally like was kind of a hard agree, um, simply for the fact that like if a coin is kind of too good to be true, and it might be too good to be true, um, and I think that comes with buying counterfeits or being offered counterfeits, or altered coins and stuff like that. But like what you're bringing up, like coins that are obviously not going to be counterfeited or like you're going to find in circulation that are still out there, even if it's just like a far shot. Yeah, keep the hope alive and search for it.
Yeah, and I hadn't thought about the counterfeit aspect. And that's a great, especially with these being like more catered towards beginners. I think like that's a huge problem. I got a coin back that I thought was worth $500 in my grading submission today that turned out to be counterfeit. So it's a something that plagues everybody, and especially on the rare ones. You're going to find a lot out there. Whether it's and that's another. Most of these topics are could be full videos, but whether it's the coin that's like shipped from the Russian Federation and it's like a super underpriced rare world coin, and in the description it's like no claim to authenticity, then you're probably not going to want to purchase that. And that's maybe more of a blatant example, but something certainly to be aware of. But I think that wraps us up. This has been fun, and
Yeah,
I'm excited do a few more reviews with you. And for the viewers, Isaiah, I think he's going to be making a lot more appearances on the channel. So great to get through this, and hopefully the beginners out there, or just people who are interested what a 1935 coin collecting guide, or like the version of this video that would have been made 100 years ago, except published in print instead of over the internet, would have looked like. There we have it. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated. I've also got Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so you can follow me there. TreasuretownYT.com is the main channel website. Definitely give that a visit. I've got a lot of information about me up there and the channel. CoinGrabBag.com as well currently redirects there, but it's some good opportunities for very fair grab bags, both made by me and other sellers. A lot of different options, so that's a good way to support. There's also TreasuretownCoins.com. In the future, my coin dealing operation will be done out of that website. CoinMeltPrice.com for updates on the melt prices of your coins, both US and world. A lot of resources in that website. And then CoinsMetalsCards.com, being developed right now as a marketplace and news source for coins, metals, cards, and collectibles in general. So I'll see you on my future videos. Looking forward to seeing you there, and hope you have a good day.